Welcome to All My Friends Are Cooler Than Me. I'm Wes,
And I'm Dr. Laura. Enjoy today's episode.
and learn how to be just a little bit cooler.
I have a very special guest. Now, there have been a lot of famous fashionistas throughout the world. And, based on the nature of our career paths, we are very limited in our expression of that. But my sister, different parents, as anybody watching this on YouTube will be able to tell, but still my sister, a woman that I absolutely love to the core of my being, would do anything for, happens to take the cake because she has the perfect drip game. I don't know what else to say. You have the best style, the best heart, and arguably one of the best smiles on the face of the planet or in recorded human history. So, my sister Kay, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, little Brody. How are you?
I miss you.
I miss you too. Hey, I appreciate that. You got tears coming to my eyes, and we ain't even start this damn episode. This some bull.
You're cool as fuck. All right, let's just be real about it.
I'm sensitive, bro.
You can't even say that with a straight face.
I am a little sensitive sometimes. Not all the time, but just a little bit.
You don't let it show.
Nah, not often. But when people are like near and dear to me, like they can get me sensitive like this.
Well, we'll see how many tears he's able to pull out of you this episode.
Nah, I'm a thug. I'm a thug. We're not doing that.
So why don't we start there? Actually, I'm curious, Kay, have you always been a fashionista? Or tell us kind of the story behind how you came to be so cool.
I don't even think I'm a fashionista. I just feel like I I love just being able to express myself by the way I dress, you know? Um it wasn't until about maybe 7 or 8 years ago where I started like people be like, yo, I like the way you dress. So people would ask me, can I style their kids? Can I style their boyfriends? I have homegirls that be like, hey, I'm trying to put this fit together. How does it look? And it started becoming where I was dressing people. But I actually sometimes have a stylist for myself. Cause I ask my friends like, hey, does this go? And they'd be like, yeah, no. I was like, but it goes. They're like, I don't see the picture. And then when I put it on, they be like, all right, that go. That goes.
It's because nobody's got your level of vision.
I have a very interesting vision. I'll dress up sometimes or I'll dress down, but then the way I dress it down, I still dress it up in a sense. I love a good pair of sweatpants, to be honest with you.
Okay. That's not what I was expecting to be the end of that statement, but I fuck with it. All right, cool.
Yeah, I rock some sweatpants with a nice shirt. Maybe pull up the pants a little bit on the sweats, depending on if they're like, if they can go ahead and cuff like near the bottom of my calf or something like that. So I can show off the good drippy socks I got on real quick. And then, yeah.
So, I mean, you and I have known each other for a few years now.
Yeah.
But for those people that are watching this, listening to this, do you mind telling them a little bit more about you? Like, what's the warning label on the back of the jar of K?
I'm the sweetest a-hole you'll ever meet. That's literally the label. I am the sweetest person to anybody who's around me. But if you cross me or you cross somebody that I love, I'm not the one to play with either. So I mean, that's just it.
Fair. I mean, so where are you from?
So I'm originally from East Oakland, California. The home of the Raiders, the A's, Golden State Warriors, even though they all done left Oakland, including myself leaving Oakland. But that's my home. I'm a Bay Area kid, born and raised.
Do you have family?
I do. Really, I'm not close with a lot of my blood family, but like I grew up with my stepfather and my god family. So like those, even though some of us may not be blood related, we're the closest thing that I have. You know what I'm saying? Uh, my god family was like the Huxtables growing up, so all the kids were at their house. Uh, Majority of my like Christmases was spent with them. My mother is amazing. She raised me and my brother, working two jobs to make sure that we were okay. And we had a village. So I grew up with my village. That's my family.
I mean, I think that kind of applies because Laura, I mean, tell me if I'm misspeaking here, but all the conversations that we've had about Kay, like I was like, she's like this rock in a storm. She takes charge. Like it's, we've talked to a couple of other people, right? Like Down to Dots, right? Like I'm like, hey, like he's always making people smile and laugh, and he kind of like
Right.
eases this mood. But with you, it's something really different, unique, and special that I've noticed at least, is in these circumstances of chaos, you kind of jump in and you motivate people. So they're not necessarily like laughing and goofing off, but you instill purpose and focus in the people around you. You wrap people into this mission with you, into this. You turn heads, minds, and hearts in like an instant, and it is like this really really cool thing to be able to see and to be around. Is that a skill that
It,
you've always had, or did you learn it? Like,
to be honest with you, a lot of people say I'm basically the same person I was when I first came in. I just feel like I fine tuned a lot of things that I learned throughout the years. So I've always been that let's motivate each other. At the same time, I may have been like a jerk to people, right? But not intentionally. But if you make me mad, yeah, you gonna see that side of me, right? But I believe in, okay, the chaos is happening. Let me get these few words that I need to get off of my tongue real quick. Let me tell you how I really feel, and then let's go ahead and fix it, right? Because at the end of the day, if you can't go ahead and see the problem and try and come up with a solution, then what are you really doing? You know? My thing is, I don't like people being taken advantage of. I don't like people being treated maliciously when there's no reason to treat somebody maliciously, right? So like when I met you, literally I did not know you from Adam and Eve, right? Didn't know who you were, but I didn't like how things were being portrayed and how they were treating you. I wasn't feeling that. I'm a whole warrant. So what were they gonna do? Fire me? Take away my birthday? No, I was gonna go ahead and set some stuff straight. So I was like, hey, what do you need so we can get the job done of what you need to do? Because you were being the sweetest person and you were being so kind to everybody and you were trying to involve everybody, but they weren't reciprocating what you were trying to do for them. And immediately I took a grasp to you because of the fact that you were just so genuine. And not a lot of people are genuine what they do. Like you love doing content. Like you are perfect for that. And I saw how you were trying to go ahead and motivate junior sailors to go ahead and do some stuff, even some stuff I wouldn't have thought about off the top of my head. And I was like, okay, he's like really into it. You weren't rude because some people that are in khakis tend to be rude to junior sailors. You were not. You were heavily involved and you were just trying to make it look fun, trying to get them motivated, trying to get them geared up because we were at Fleet Week. And we wasn't gonna rock like that. So I was like, what do you need from me? And I know you looked at me like you're a whole warrant officer asking me what I need. No, what do you need? At the end of the day, that rank stuff, cool, right? But we are humans. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of people tend to forget sometimes because they're in that uniform.
yeah,
I can't empower anybody else if I'm not empowering somebody else. So my biggest thing is I want to show gratitude. I'd like to show gratitude, especially to junior sailors. If you're already in khakis, you've already made it. But you were trying to go ahead and do stuff with junior sailors and trying to get them involved and actually showing the fun side of Fleet Week and also the other things that are just not partying. What a lot of people think that that's what Fleet Week is. It's about empowering, showing the community that we're out there and things of that nature. So I was like, what do you need from me, bro? I was like, no, it's not Warrant right now. We're filming. It's Kay. What do you need? It took you a while before you could ever say my first name, before you could say Kay.
it's true. In fairness, I call most people by their first names, but if I really like somebody and respect them, then I have a hard time doing it. It's I don't know.
It's funny, but I thought it was cool. I was like, Wes, it's Kay. All right, Warren. All right, we gonna fight, but it's okay.
It seems like connecting on a human level is really important to you. And correct me if
Definitely.
I'm wrong, but what stood out to you about Wes was that he was authentic. Is authenticity something that is really important to you?
It's the most important thing to me, especially being around people, right? So many people tend to have this mask on and want to portray like they're authentic, but then when you get to know them over time, they're not. Like I'm a huge big teddy bear, right? The people that I'm close to. If you treat my people that I'm close to wrong or you treat my sailors wrong, oh bro, you got a problem with me. Because I'm not playing that.
It's
So
hysterical to watch, honestly. I've never been on the receiving end, so I can say that, but it is fucking hilarious.
oh he's seen some of it.
It is delightful. But so I mean, what in your life led to this emphasis on authenticity and like the prioritization of that?
I think growing up, I watched a lot of people come in and out of my life that pretended to be authentic at the very beginning, but then the layers, the onions started peeling back, right? And when I started to see those onions peel back, I just knew that wasn't somebody I could rock with. I'm very big on energy. So if I come around you and my energy's not good, I'll stay quiet because I don't like to shift energies. And if you're around somebody, the energy that you are feeling will project on the people that you're around. So I am very big on protecting my energy as much as possible. And I've done that like I used to hang around with people that had bad energy where I was having that bad energy. And as I got older, I realized that's not what I want. I don't smile often, but when I'm around people that I enjoy and that I know have good energy, I will be smiling from ear to ear and you be like, what the hell is wrong with this lady? And I'll be
You
like,
got a
nothing,
great
it's
smile.
good.
You should smile more often.
Right? What?
It's amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
See, that's like something that's always stood out to me, so I had to throw it in the intro. Delightful.
But listen, when I get serious and that smile goes away, and I'm talking business, and I feel like you're trying to play, yeah, that smile goes away real quick, and that warning label I said about at the beginning comes out. I may do a corporate cuss out. You may get a godly cuss out, or you might just get the hood version of a cuss out. Either which way it goes, I'm gonna hurt your feelings, and then I might apologize later for hurting your feelings, but I'm gonna explain to you why I had to hurt your feelings.
And you're going to protect your people, it sounds like.
Oh, I'm heavy on protecting my people, protecting people that are good and that are good to me. I'm a very loyal person.
I mean, I might be overly extrapolating here, so like just step in and like fuck me up if I'm off base, but uh seeing a lot of people come into your life, pretend to be authentic, only to be revealed to be less than good people after the fact at an early age, kind of instilled this desire to find those authentic people. Not just like I feel like most people would turn that into a self-defense mechanism where it's like, hey, I'm doing this to just protect me. But the fact that you have been able to see that, understand the value in it, and then use that to build a barrier around the people you care about, right? Like that is a huge shift from what I think the normal mode is, right? And I think that's one of the things that sets you apart. What what made that shift happen? If you don't mind me,
Honestly, I had that barrier though. Like I was protecting myself, only unintentionally hurting good people, right? And I had to take a step back and I really had to evaluate myself. So I started going to therapy because I was pushing away good people out of my life because of the fact that I was doing just what you said. I was taking the fact that I had people that seemed to be authentic come into my life, only to end up hurting me. And I started trying to protect myself, but I was hurting people that was around me that were good, right? So when I started going to therapy, I started realizing that about myself, and I'm like, damn, I could be doing so much good with this. Why am I secluding myself and hurting people in the process unintentionally because I was trying to protect myself, right? To the point where I started reevaluating. So when I get good energy around me, when I have authentic people come around me and all they want to do is just uplift me in all aspects of life, right? Whether it's a friend, whether it's a relationship, even when a relationship ends bad now for me, I don't dislike that person because I have to take accountability to how I made them feel and why it didn't work out. There's no love lost because if I ever tell somebody I love them, I meant that shit wholeheartedly, right? But I know that not everything is meant to be in your life for forever. Some people are a season, some people are a reason, some people are a lesson, some people are blessings. But it really took a lot of self-evaluation, taking a step back, not looking at just from my point of view, but taking a step back and trying to interpret what they were trying to say to me. It's a lot of growth, brother. It's a lot of growth.
Yeah, that sounds Herculean. Like, I mean, I'm always impressed by you, but I am continuously impressed by you. I'll say that.
Yeah, that willingness to look in the mirror and see things maybe that you don't love about yourself and then actively, intentionally change it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow. And that's the hard part, right? Cause we could tell you all day what other people did to us, but then we have to take a step back and be like, well shit, what did we do to that person?
yeah. And I feel like the hard pills to swallow are always like that's where you find the good medicine. You know?
Hey, I'm with you when you're right, man, because I hate medicine.
Today's episode is brought to you by the One Man, One Mic Foundation, $3 Water, Badger, Operation Gamify, and the Ink and Frame Collective. Check out the episode description for more details.
So clearly you're good at building relationships with the people around you, even the ones like you're saying that don't last. But it seems like you actually are a community builder outside of just your one-on-one relationships. I heard that you might have a TikTok following. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Might.
So what's crazy is during COVID, one of my friends was like, yo, you have a huge sneaker room, right? Why don't you go ahead and go live on TikTok? And I'm like, bro, I'm not going live. Like, no. Like, no. At the time I was living in Japan, and during COVID, I started becoming like a sneaker reseller because a lot of people couldn't go out and get their sneakers and it was selling out in the US so quickly. So Japan had a thing where it delivered it to my door. I was like, all right, cool. I started helping out my friends all over the world buying their sneakers. Um, and then after COVID, I towards the end of COVID, before I left Japan, I started doing different reels on TikTok, just showing a little bit of my sneaker collection. Started getting like about close to about 500-600 followers. My father passed June of 2022, and I was going through it emotionally, right? uh I had everybody that cared about me like reaching out, but I didn't know how to interact with them because my energy was always so, I was in a dark place and I was like hurt. So about November of 2022, I said, screw it. I'm gonna go live on TikTok in the sneaker room because my sneaker room is like what some people have like a prayer room. My sneaker room was that for me. It was my zen, it was my peace. So I went live one day in my sneaker room and people just started going crazy. They were like, yo, are you in a store? And I'm like, no, this is my sneaker room at home. They're like, ain't no way those are all your sneakers. That's a background. So I started pulling sneakers off the shelves. Like, no, it's not a background. I went from just hitting 1,000 followers to 9,000 followers within the space of 2 weeks.
Wow.
I went from 9,000 to 25,000 followers in the space of like 2 months. So right now I have about 25.8K followers on TikTok.
From your
It was
closet.
just me being in my sneaker room, showing sneakers, having real life conversations, um, talking about life. But it was crazy because I would only go on TikTok when I felt like a burst of energy because I was so down a lot. Like going to work, I had to portray that I was okay at work. And then I would go home and I would be sad. And then I get this burst of energy. And I'm like, I don't know what somebody else is going through. Let me go ahead on live real quick and just like all this energy that I'm feeling right now. Let me portray it off so somebody else can receive some good energy. So I used to go live sometimes 3, 4, 5 hours straight on TikTok. Um, I think my biggest live, I had like 10.6K people in my live at one time, just like wowed about my sneaker collection. So they were like, oh, what do you do? They asked me if I was a drug dealer, which was crazy. I'm like, they're like, well, the way you dress. I'm like, the way I dress? They're like, well, you kind of drippy, like you have like drip about you. I'm like, not a drug dealer. And then everybody's like, are you in the military? And I'm like, am I in the what? And because I at that time I didn't want anybody to know I was in the military. Like I had people that were in the military following me and know me like in real life. And I'm like, if you even say anything about me being in the military, I will block you, right? So they would come in and they'd be like, what's up, Kay? And they knew their limit, but they wouldn't say anything. But I told them I worked at a company that was like a Fortune 500. And I did that all the way up until Fleet Week Miami.
Can we step in here? Like, I know that it's probably rude to jump in and try to correct someone's story, but I need to make a correction to your story here because you said something that's untrue, and I'm gonna call you out on it right here, right
What?
now. You said that they were on there for your sneakers, and we both know they were there for you. All right, you were the draw,
No,
not
they were
no
there for the
shit.
sneakers, man. They just liked the music and the energy that they were receiving. But they were there for the sneakers. At least that's what I think. No?
That's okay. You're allowed to be wrong.
It seems like it wasn't just a one-way street, though. You were interacting with these folks and they were communicating with you, right?
Yes, definitely. At one point, it was becoming overwhelming and like it was messing with my anxiety. So I was like, and then I started having like my sisters come in. So my sisters would answer certain questions for me, or I end up finding some people that were cool that were following me from the very beginning, and I made them moderators. So like certain questions people would ask, they would answer it for me because of the fact they've been in my life for so long. Yeah, it was crazy. Like I was like, okay, all right, this is a lot.
Damn.
So, through that experience, do you think it helped you get through some of the difficulties you were experiencing with COVID and your grief and stress at work and all of that?
Oh, 1,000%. To be honest with you, um, TikTok saved me from going into a deep depression. Um, I I would have friends that would reach out to me and text me, but because of the fact I was going through my grieving and I didn't want to talk to people that knew me in real life, like on the phone with them, I would be on TikTok so much that I also I lost some friends that I thought were really friends, and come to find out they really weren't friends because if they didn't understand, like at times I didn't want to talk, then it's okay. Like I get it, but I am dealing with my grief in my own way because grief never looks the same for anybody, right? For me, TikTok was my escape from reality, but still a reality. So I was able to talk to so many new people, and I end up having friends, people that became friends from TikTok. One of my best friends is I met her on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And I got nothing but love and respect for her. And I met her on TikTok. But it was just like I made genuine connections with people I never thought I would ever meet a day in my life. And some people felt some type of way about me being on TikTok all the time and felt like TikTok was more important than our friendships. But what they didn't realize was TikTok was saving me from going down into a deep depression when my dad passed. Because before he passed, he was like one of my best friends. Like we had just made amends because I was upset with him on something he did during COVID, which was stupid and we should have talked about it. But I'm glad that we were able to fix our relationship and our friendship before he passed. So yeah.
I mean, it's inspiring. I mean, obviously, I mean that's why we're talking about this. You turn hardship and tragedy into tough to swallow but good medicine, and you turn around and you use those lessons to help other people and protect them. Like that's literally like what heroes do. You know what I mean? Like that is you build community and you do it in a way that lifts other people up, and it's awesome.
I definitely try to. Sometimes I'm hard headed and I only see my vision, but then I tell you how I had to take a step back and kind of reevaluate. Because my vision, it may not be the perfect vision, right? That's just the vision that I see. So sometimes when people try and tell me, like, hey, you're wrong on this and you're not seeing it from my point of view, I'm like, damn. I thought my vision was the right vision, but I see where you're coming from, you know?
You mean like 5 minutes ago when you were telling people that they were there for the shoes, but we all know they were there for you? Like that whole thing? Where it's like, hey, you need to take a step back and reevaluate the fact that you're amazing and that's why people pay attention? Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just blessed to have good people around me to keep my energy up. That's it.
You're pulling in those good people, though.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're pulling in those good people. It
You
isn't
know what?
happening by accident.
I will tell you, even at my darkest moments, I've had some amazing people come into my life. And a lot of people don't even know, like, when I'm having a moment where I'm feeling down, I'll randomly get a call from like one of my friends, right? I could be like sad, don't want to do anything. And then randomly one of my friends will be like, hey, I just want you to know you're amazing. And it would change my whole mood right there. Like when my little brother texts me just to say, I just want to tell you I miss you. I love you. I'll be like, oh, he must have knew my energy was bad right now. But
It's
I
just
would
like,
never tell anybody because I never want to put my weight of what I'm going through on somebody else.
so I
So
mean, what do you make of this from the lessons learned? Like if we were to try to instill these values, lessons, abilities, heroism into an outside source, do you have any sage advice?
I have some thoughts. Um, like we've talked about many times before, human beings are social creatures, and our connections with other people is so deeply tied to our well-being, our mental health. And so, one of the ways that we can improve that is by actively cultivating and creating community, which is something that you've done. And so, one of the things that we know about from psychology is how to create community in a way that works and that's going to be effective, right? So, one thing is that it has to be intentional. So, you have a vision, like you're saying, you have a clear purpose, you have a reason for doing it, and you're authentic. You show up in a real way, in a way that people can relate to. One of the things underlying authenticity that we haven't really talked about, but that I think is implied is vulnerability. People who are authentic are vulnerable. They're willing to share real things about them, things that are hard, things that other people might be able to relate to, right? So you showed up in an intentional and authentic way. And then the other things that you did that I think contribute to your success of why you've built this community and it's stuck around is that you have fostered an environment that's open to all sorts of people. Like you're saying, so many of these people you never would have come across. You probably wouldn't have hung out with them if you just like saw them on the street, but here they are, right?
Yeah.
And you're welcome to everyone. And not only are you welcoming them, but you're setting up an opportunity for them to actively engage, right? So it's this reciprocal relationship where you're influencing them, but they influence you too, right? And they're able to get to know one another. So I think you do a lot of this stuff instinctively, but from a psychological perspective, it's not a surprise to me why you've been so successful at it.
I mean, they kind of like, I don't know, it makes me think of that quote where it's like the hero and the villain are branches off the same branch.
The same genetic tree.
Okay, right.
Twigs
Okay.
of the same genetic tree.
So it's like the people, like the villain, have that same platform, that same reach, but they turn into like that cult of personality. Whereas the hero, like you, engages with people, they interact, they build this community where everybody's kind of involved and uplifted, and it's, I don't know, that's just kind of what it brings to mind for me. So I think if I were to talk to somebody and try to instill that lesson in them, I think that would be like the crucial difference that I would want to impart is that, hey, it's not enough to just build a community. You have to interact with that community, just like Kay does.
Absolutely.
I try. I really do try.
Yeah. I mean, what would you say if you were to try to distill all of that down into like a life lesson to give to a stranger on a park bench? I'm putting you on the spot very heavily.
Honestly, sometimes smiling at a person could change their whole day, right? Um, like I said, for the longest, I didn't really smile. Um, I wasn't full with like happiness, you know what I'm saying? But I realized that if you can do one thing selfless a day, there's no obstacles that you can't overcome. If you could just go ahead and say hi to a stranger with a smile on your face, even if you're having a bad day, you might change that person's whole outlook on their day because you never know what somebody else is going through. Sometimes just being kind is the best thing you could do in life.
So it's kind of, like people talk about how like misery loves company. People are sad and they try to like bring others down, and it kind of spreads. I mean, it seems to me at least like you're applying essentially the same principle, but with kindness, grace, and happiness. And even when you don't feel like it, still going for it, still finding that motivation to do it because you know that it will spread.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. But I've realized even on my down days, let me just go ahead and smile and say hi to somebody. Let me open up a door for somebody so they can walk through it. Let me just, if somebody drops something, hey, you need help? Because you don't know if they have a disability or if their back is hurting and they can't bend down. Just sometimes take yourself out of your own self for 2.5 seconds, and it can change the world for somebody else without even knowing it.
I really, really appreciate you coming on, and I'm not super. I don't mean this in a bad way, but I am gonna try to make you cry here in about 2 seconds.
Here we go. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. So you know that you were actually one of the first people to find out that Laura and I got engaged last week. And thank you again for your support. we are starting to plan a wedding for next year. And
Okay.
I would be particularly honored if you would be one of my groom's party.
I was doing so good. I was doing so good on here, right? I would be more than honored. Like, that's not even a question. You're my little brother. Why would I not be there for you? You want me there? I'm there.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
And I did it without crying. You almost got a tear, though. You almost got a tear.
And then for those of you watching on YouTube right now that all the like meat and potatoes has been we're just gonna awkwardly stare at each other for like 5 seconds, and that's what we're gonna cut in the sneaker room once it's done.
I
Ready?
need to hurry up. I know. I need to hurry up.
Go. Sneaker room. I don't know how to do a fadeaway noise like in the 90s. I'm trying. I'm doing my best, but
Oh my gosh.
seriously, thank you so much for coming on, sis. I miss you. I love you. Can't wait to see you again. I'm a lucky bastard to have you as a friend.
Yeah, but you're cool too, Wes.
Not as cool as you though. It's literally in the name of the show. Every episode of All My Friends Are Cooler Than Me is made possible by the One Man, One Mic Foundation. Purpose, belonging, and connection are often found in a life of service, but so rarely in the silence that comes after. The One Man, One Mic Foundation exists to help veterans and active duty service members find purpose through storytelling, belonging within our communities, and connection to the world through podcasting. Help bring them back to community. Find out more at onemanOneMicFoundation.org.